Simon, come here. Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Rayleigh Bradshaw, author of YA historical fiction, and this is my first video. So I thought it would be fitting for my first video to do the Authortube Newbie Tag. This is the culprit for the wobbly camera, but look how cute he is. He's just such a cutie pie. This tag was created by Jenna the Dark One, and I will link her video below. I was tagged by a lot of Authortubers who said, I tag all of you in this video. So I was not tagged personally by name, but I have taken it upon myself to do this Authortube Newbie Tag. So I hope that you enjoy. Probably about a year ago, no, it was 2 years ago because I was getting ready to get married. So I was watching a lot of beauty tubers doing bridal makeup because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do my makeup and my hair and things like that for my wedding. And how I stumbled upon Derek Murphy's channel where he does a lot of how to get self-published kind of content. And from there, it was just, you know, I started watching Kristen Martin's channels, Vivian Reese, Natalia Lee, Joanna Penn, she's amazing. Watched a lot of Joanna Penn. YA historical fiction, and I have some plans for some historical fiction mixed with like paranormal elements. Well, I have a lot of other ideas to branch out of historical fiction, but my current project is a YA historical fiction set in like a Western kind of backdrop. So I typically write in first-person past tense. My next project that I'll be working on after my current one will be my first attempt at first-person present tense, which I'm actually really excited about. I've already written out a few scenes because I couldn't help myself. But yeah, that will be later. Have to set that on the back burner for right now so I can finish my current project, which is a first-person past tense. My current project is a young adult, definitely, but I have some upcoming projects that will be kind of more branching into the new adult category. I used to be a plotter 100%. I started writing when I was like 8 years old. I would post all my stories on Fiction Press. Shout out if you were ever on Fiction Press or if you still are. I loved Fiction Press. I used to be on there constantly throughout my high school years and a little bit after my high school years as well. At the time that I was posting to Fiction Press, I was a plotter 100%, but nowadays, I don't know if it's because I'm older or what, but I rarely do anything by the seat of my pants anymore. I am currently yet to be published, planning on self-publishing. So as I said before, I'm planning on self-publishing, so I don't really have a dream publishing house, so to say, or literary agent. I don't really plan on getting a literary agent. For my debut novel, I'm planning on just doing it all on my own and seeing how it goes, I guess. Although I will say, if I have a dream publishing house, it is my own publishing house that I'm planning on starting. My husband is going to be helping me with that business. He is a artist and a genius on the computer, so he's going to be helping me with the starting of my own personal publishing house. So more videos like this, probably a more vlog style of video. I'll probably be doing a lot of videos recorded in my car as I'm driving to and from work, since that's mostly the time that I have to myself. Right now I'm lucky because my husband left for work early this morning and I don't have to be at work yet, so I'm recording this right before heading out to work. I've got Camp NaNoWriMo coming up. I'll be vlogging that, my writing process, and then some tips and tricks that I found to be helpful in my own writing journey. And I hope to hear from you guys as well what your tips and tricks are. So if you have any of those for me, just comment below. It'd be awesome. I was 8 years old when I started writing. I was inspired by my older sisters who used to record stories on like cassette tapes for my little sister and I. I had 3 older sisters, so the oldest sister would be the narrator, and then the 2 other sisters would be the voices of the characters, and then they would use like random inanimate objects around the house to make background sounds. And so they had like flower pots on a book cover that they would use to make like horses galloping, and they had like music, and then they would have glasses tinkling in the background and things like that. And they would record it on this cassette tape, and then my little sister and I would be treated like we were at premiere event or whatever, and fed grapes on plush pillows and things like that while we would listen to them. And I was probably about 7 when that happened, and I remember thinking, hey, if my sisters can make up stories, I can make up stories too. There were 5 of us girls. I remember we all sat down and decided we were going to write books, and so we all had our own books that we were working on, and even though I was only 8, I was the only one that actually stuck with my book. And I remember it so well. It was called The Legend of Two Worlds, and it was kind of like a Little Mermaid retelling, but way better, obviously. It was this mermaid named Lissy who had a best friend named Linda who was also a mermaid, but she was green and she was a witch, and she had all these sisters who were like advanced witches, and Linda was learning how to be a witch. And so one night they are like having this Little Mermaid sleepover, just the 2 of them, and they're playing with this magic book and just kind of goofing off, and then Linda accidentally turns them both into humans. Lissy's pet Polly, who was a dolphin, swam them up to the surface, and then they washed on the beach, and luckily for them, a servant of the prince found them, and the prince was like, oh, take them to the castle, we must teach them our ways, because they were mermaids, so they spoke mermaid, and they didn't speak English, and so they had to learn how to speak like humans. So they would have like their daily lessons at the palace, and then Lissy actually did not fall in love with the prince. I saved the prince for Linda, whose skin turned not green anymore when she became a human. And so Linda actually got to be with the prince, and then Lissy fell in love with the stable boy. Ooh! And it was a long book. I mean, I was 8 years old, but this was like several chapters long, and it was in this huge, I had this huge like black binder, and I just filled it with lined pieces of paper, and I would write the story in pencil, and then I would leave like a space about like this thick at the bottom of every page for my older sister Rebecca to illustrate what was happening on that page of the book, because she's a really good artist. And so she would draw these little like cartoony characters and stuff, and then I would color them in, and oh, I wish I still had that binder. I would show you guys. It was so cool. But unfortunately, I got really into the whole seashell thing with my mermaids, and I always was describing what kinds of seashells they were wearing, and one of the mermaids wore like sand dollar seashells, and they had like red rubies in the middle, and I was 8. I mean, I wasn't thinking like, I don't know, I wasn't thinking that that would be weird or gross. I just thought like, oh yes, and there's like red rubies right in the middle of her sand dollar bra. Anyways, and Rebecca actually drew it, and then all my other sisters and their friends were making fun of it, and they were like, oh my gosh, what is this book? And everything, and I got so embarrassed that I threw the entire book away. The whole binder, the whole story, it's gone. Oh, I'm so mad. I wish I still had it, but c'est la vie. That's kind of hard to say because I don't feel like I really try to imitate any writing style. Maybe I should. I don't know. I feel like I've kind of developed my own style really early on since I started writing when I was 8, and that was before I started reading. My stories were inspired by stories that I would hear my sisters telling me, or my oldest sister, she would read to me like the Chronicles of Narnia and Watership Down and things like that, but she wouldn't actually read them to me because I was little and she didn't think I'd understand the words. So she would do her own retellings and show me like the pictures in the books, and she was really good at telling stories and bringing them to life through her voice and painting pictures for me. And so I think honestly my writing style probably developed mostly from hearing the way my sister would tell stories. I read a lot of classics. Louisa May Alcott. Let's say Louisa May Alcott. Little Women is like my favorite book of all time. I love that book, probably because I can really relate to it, having grown up with 5 sisters. It just feels like this is my life. So I'll say Louisa May Alcott, George Eliot. Oh, Silas Marner just hits me in the feels every time. I love it. Brandon Sanderson is a wizard at writing fantasy. He's amazing. Blows my mind how he pops these out like cookies. Like, he's complex. He's amazing. So Brandon Sanderson. J.K. Rowling is like, goes without saying, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of authors that I really love. So we'll just leave it at that. I wish I could say that I schedule my writing sessions regularly, but I'm no Kristen Martin, we'll just put it that way. I'm not super organized. I try really hard. I set up my own writing space. I'm looking at it right now in the corner. I know that I am my most creative actually in the morning. If I write first thing in the morning, that's the best. And so some days it works out, some days it doesn't, and I have to come home and just try to write before I go to bed. Some days I will not allow myself to leave work. I mean, like, I'll clock out, but then I'm not allowed to leave my desk until I've written a certain amount of words. So I guess technically I'd have to say that I write whenever I have the time. I'm constantly trying to schedule my writing time, and hopefully that's something I'll get better about. I also have a blog, and so I post every single Thursday to my blog, and that's at rayleybradshaw.com. I do schedule time to write for that because it's important to get that up regularly. Obviously when I was little I wrote by hand because I was writing with like pencil, and oh man, look at that. It scratched my chest and I've got these red lines. Whatever. But now I do my writing on the computer. I will, like, while I'm at work, I have these little notepads that I keep by my desk, that whenever I come up with a scene in my head that I just want to get out, or ideas for my story or character sketch or something like that, and I typically write those things by hand, and then I stick all these loose pieces of paper in a notebook that I have that's also full of notes I take when I'm at home. So I do like notes and brainstorming and things like that by hand, and then when I'm actually sitting down to write, I write on my laptop at my writing desk in my own little home office. Or sometimes I'll just take my laptop out and write on the couch while my husband is doing his homework because he's a full-time student. So that's where and how. Whew-wee, where to begin? I am really looking forward to just being a part of this community. I love watching all the other Authortubers, and I'm always finding more of you guys. I have felt so inspired watching other Authortubers working towards their goals, their first unboxing videos with their books, actually having their books being sold on Amazon and then moving on to writing other books. It's been really inspiring for me to watch other people's process, and so I'm looking forward to inspiring other people myself with my own writing process, and then just feeling like I'm a part of something bigger. And I also feel like I'm kind of excited to do my own like unboxing video, and I feel like having this channel will kind of help me remember that I'm working towards these goals and help keep me on track with my writing. So yeah, I'm excited about all of those things. Just everything about Authortube is really exciting to me. So yeah, I guess that concludes this video. That's all 13 of the Authortube newbie questions. So if you guys have any questions for me, then please leave them in the comments below. I realize as this is my first video, probably no one's going to watch it yet, and that's okay. I'm just gonna keep posting, and I'm excited to help you along on your own writing journey. Thank you so much for watching today. I look forward to getting to know all of you a little bit better here on the Authortube. You can also follow me on my blog at rayliebradshaw.com, and that is also linked in the description below. There I post a lot of motivational content to help keep you inspired and motivated, not only for writing, but to live any dream that you have. If you're interested in watching my Camp NaNoWriMo journey, I will be vlogging that over the next few weeks. So go ahead and subscribe below so that you can see that, and I will see you next time. Bye!